He on. Oh yeah. That'll win you a tournament all day.
Yeah. Little ones are quick.
All right, boys and girls, we're here on the upper part of the Grand Arm with Hunter Bowling, and it is just a gorgeous afternoon here in early October. Hunter was going to break down what he's been doing here in the last week for a little just general weekly fishing report, maybe how it's progressed, what it's looking like they're doing, and for any of you that are getting ready to fish tournaments or just go do some fun fishing.
So this week, what I've been keying on is ditches. So I'm up here in this upper Grand. It's basically all flat. There's no, real hard creek channels, nothing like that. What I'm doing, I'm keying on these flats and finding the ditches. And those ditches, it'll be tree rows. That's where these crappies are going to set up on. And they're starting to school up together pretty well. And also you can start to catch them in the mouths of the creeks and moving back into the creeks now. But up here I'm fishing, like right now we're in 7 foot of water, and these fish are really starting to load up, like you said. Getting them to bite, that's the trick. You gotta really mess with them quite a bit. Like some of these crappie I had to drop 3 or 4 times on to give them a bite. I'm using right now just a minnow and a weight. I'm pegging with a bobber stop. But like last night, I was using a hair jig and catching them pretty good. You just gotta switch up your baits. Each crappie's gonna tell you something. But like I said, each tree is pretty loaded up with fish. Just find you a tree row that's got, anywhere from, find you a tree row that's got anywhere from 3 foot of water, to 12 foot of water. And you should catch some crappie, you should see a bunch. If you don't see any, just stay on the move.
So minnows versus the jig bite. What's the deal?
So a minnow, and everybody's pretty much can tell you this, a minnow will be a jig. Maybe not in the winter time as much, but summertime, early fall, a minnow is going to win, because these crappie are coming after these shad and they're going to feed up for winter. You can never go wrong with the minnow, it seems like. Hair jig, the reason I think they got so popular this year is because they haven't seen them. Before this year, no one's really used a hair jig before. Not too much. You get this live scope, you can see what they're doing, you can put a weight above and drop that little tiny hair jig down to them a lot quicker.
So here in the last week, you kind of got to hear what Hunter's doing. Water temperature is up a little bit. I mean, we had a warm up this week. It's been in the 80s, and so we're seeing 72.4 right now. It's been in the upper 60s early in the morning.
Yep.
And but it is starting to get down there, and the lake is, I mean, you've got maybe 6 inches of clarity up here.
Yep, it's always dirty up here, but actually for right now, this is pretty clean water. And one thing I am noticing on these crappie, if I can't get them bite, I'm gonna raise my rod tip up real slow, and if that crappie chases towards the top of the water, normally that crappie is gonna bite. Now why that is, I don't know. It's just something I've learned.
It doesn't look, I mean, right now, as far as water quality goes, I mean, you're not seeing, granted, maybe because wind's blowing pretty decent, that you're not seeing a lot of crap from any turnover scenario happening.
It's getting a lot better, I know that, from what it was.
But the turnover lake-wide is probably going to be occurring here in the next couple of weeks. When you get down to that 65-degree mark and water will start turning over on itself, which does jack up the fishing for a period of time.
Yep, it makes it tougher, that's for sure. Crappie will spread out a little more, and they're just a little bit harder to catch. I think that's what our problem is right now.
Well, there you have it, folks. There's a little weekly fishing report for you. If you're coming down here in the next several days, something to be on the lookout for. The Grand Arm is a very popular spot. Is there any other decent bites going on for crappie around the lake?
There is. Down towards the Long Shoal, Bucksall area, fishing the flats and finding ditches down there too, but there's going to be a little bit deeper water. You're going to fish anywhere from that 15 foot, all the way up to the 3 foot of water, but there you're going to find a lot deeper fish, and they'll be schooled up, towards the trees. But just, like I said, find the flats, the ditches, and you may be even go into creek channels and find some crappie.
I know Dylan was talking about starting to find them in the creek channels, or right on the edge of the channel, starting to get into the creeks a little bit here recently. So a lot of good stuff to be on the lookout for. So be sure to stay tuned to the website. We're going to have fishing reports going virtually every single day. Usually at least 5 to 10 of them a week, covering all species. So be sure to just keep staying in touch and let your friends and family know everything we're putting out, because it's really good real-time information that you're just not not going to find really anywhere else. And he's got another one.
Yeah. He ain't very big, but they're biting.
It's, hey, fun to get them in the boat.
That's right.
Thanks for watching, guys.